So what I need to do is I need to make keys to this lock, as I picked one open the other day and part exchanged it. This is the lock I picked open and took off. So now I'm going to make keys to this one, ready for the next time I pick one open. I've got a lock ready to replace. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make keys to that. So I've got a key blank. Broke my key saw blade, so I have to replace that as well. And now these key saw blades have discontinued, so you can't really get them anymore. I've still got a few left, but they're only going to get less and less. So let's just get this ready, take a new blade. So I like to use, these are about 1.5 or a 1/16 in width. So that's my preferred key saw blade. So I've got thinner ones, I've got thicker ones, but this 1.5 is probably the most common one that I use. I say once they're gone now. I'm going to have to come up with a solution. So what have we got now? So I've got some thinner ones, they look about 1.2ish or 1 mil. Got a 2 mil, the 1.5 is what I use. Okay, so we have to fit the blades, just cutting on the push. So let's just tighten that up. That's in, and then this one's got a tensioner, so that just stretches the blade out. So it's not the best frame, to be fair, so it goes off a bit skew-if, but it does the job for me. General tight. Right, that's good enough. Okay. So this is an SMP dual stump lock. It's called a dual stump because it's got 2 stumps in it. 2 stumps and 2 gates. Get it apart. Okay. So that's what we got. So we need to make this key going to fit and turn. So just needs a fraction, just needs to come off because it won't turn in that talon. This just needs to turn to there so it can start bringing that bolt back. It's just a little bit high. So let's grab a pen. So it's just whatever way you prefer to make keys. This is just the way that I do them. So now I'll turn it under tension. Now I'll rock it. Gives me a little bit of a bruise on the key. You see it just on that very tip. Just about see it. And this is what I was on about the dual stumps. It's got 2 stumps. So a lever has 2 gates. You've got some false notches in there as well. Okay. just take it down a fractional bit at a time and see where we're fitting. And just a little bit more. So we take down a little bit at a time, because as my barber says, I can take more off but I can't put it back on. So the cuts to the key, they should be slightly radius. So when the key turns, let's turn it now, when it touches the lever, if it was a sharp edge, that would act as a chisel. So imagine the key's in there. When it turns there, that sharp edge would be digging into the edge of that. So I don't know if you can see that clearly or not, but you can see where the key started to wear a bit in there already. So imagine if you had a chisel, it'd literally be digging into that. It creates a little pipette in there. It makes the key stop working properly. And you're literally shaving the edge of the lever every time the key operates. So a radius is your best option. This is a key retaining as well, so when the lock opens, the key can't come out. Okay, so it doesn't look too bad. So make sure we've got no dust on it. It's pretty good. You can emery cloth these or wire brush them up if you want to, but this is not too bad. So to hold the lever in the lock, actually blacken that key back up. So what we need to establish now is the spacing. So I've got the spacing for the bolt thrower. Now I need to establish the spacing for the levers. There's a couple of ways you can do it. I tend to just go with turning the lever and turning the key on against the lever. You could scribe a little line on there, but you need to make sure your key is all the way into the lock. Okay, so I've got a little polish just there, see it? So if it's got a mark on it, it means that it was touching the lever. So we'll take that down a bit. So let's just have a quick look at this. So, okay, so we don't want to go too low, so we'll start off getting our spacing right first. I know it's going to be a little bit down. So we're literally just taking down a little bit. Let's take off that. A little bit of that's it. So I've just taken it down. That bit there, so that cut. So my main thing is to establish the width of the lever, because if you don't get the lever width right, as you start to cut, your key will start to bind, squashing levers. So for me, the most important thing is keeping everything in line. So this is just the way I do it. People probably do it different ways. This is just the way that works for me. Okay, so I put that in the lock, turn it. So we need to line the two gates up to the two cuts. Okay, so that needs to come down more. So spacing is right by looking at it. So I'm giving it a radius cut as I'm going. Okay, and the other thing is when you're making the key, you want to make sure that this is 90 degrees lock, because we haven't got a case cap on it. That's floating around, so we want to make sure that we're going to do everything and keep that somewhat straight. If in doubt, just leave it a little bit high, like a fractional, so when we put it back together, this being an open case, we can, you know, touch the levers and see which ones are slightly high, or actually see the bruising on the key. So it needs to go down a bit more. Can do this with a file. It's just I prefer to use the key saw, but once I've run out of blades, I'll have to do it with a file. Okay, so it's not bad. It's pretty close, as you can see. Look, get that bit of a wiggle there. It will go in. So that's not bad. Remember to keep our key straight and everything. That's not bad. So it's a little high, but we're better off being high. So when we come to fine tune it, the key's going to work smoothly. So imagine if you had the key was wearing. Okay, if you had a key that was wearing, then these gates here, you want the lever as it picks it up. You want to have a little bit of gap, so it's better to be more high than it is low, because we can always come down, but we can't go up. It also makes a nice strong key because you might have a bit of wear in the lock as well. So we start off high. That's a good lever. Put that in there. That's the second lever in. So we can sort of visually tell that's going to be a low cut because we're almost in the gate. It just needs a little lift. So put in our key, make sure it's all the way in. Turn it, we mark that up again. But we can basically get an idea where the width is because we have used a 1.5mm key saw blade, and that is roughly the thickness of this sleeve is 1.5 or 1/16, somewhere in there. Okay. Put in the vise. So you can use soft jaws if you want, so you don't damage the key. I'm an animal, so I just put it straight in the vise. Doesn't make much difference to me. But yeah, you can use soft jaws if you want. So I'm just going to try and do the second cut. Remember, our most important thing is space. By space, I mean each lever is going to come down like this, and you want to make sure that cut is not too far this way, not too far that way. The lever can come down uninterfered. So if you have a look at the key, you'll see that the deeper cut is always slightly wider than the high cut. So if you look at this, for example, this key, that deep cut is wider than that cut. Because imagine you've got levers that are squashed together, that deep cut needs a bit of play. Yeah, the high cut doesn't. It needs to be thinner so the levers next to it don't get squashed with that leg. So deep cut should be wider, top cut should be slightly narrower. But we want to make sure we're in line, and we can adjust them a little bit if we need to. But say this is a deep cut. We're just checking the spacing. Check it out. It's not bad. It's pretty, yep, spot on, I think. So we're going to come down a bit with that one. So I know it's lower than the first cut I did because we know it's a low cut, so I can go straight past that first cut. I've got a cup of tea somewhere as well. So look at that. Okay, so where are we? So this is a 7-lever lock. So it's not bad. So I think we need to bring the cut a little bit wider, because that lever I can see is not going all the way down to my lowest cut, which means our width is just a touch off. So, use the file for that. Check that out. It's not bad, and we're almost there, just a fraction more. So we can do that with the key saw blade, or we can do it with the file. So let's do it with the file. It's only a very small amount. Radius in the cut. So you can use a key horse. I don't know if you've ever seen them. It's can go in the vise, or you've got like a capstan wheel. It goes in, and you can you turn the key as you use the file. They're pretty good. Okay, so it's a nice tight fit as well, that. So let's just check our size. That's not bad. So I'm going to leave that one where it is. As I say, it's better to have it higher than too low. It's good. Third lever in. And that looks like that is the same cut, or nearer same cut as that very first lever that we put in there. Okay. Let's just do our spacing again. So roughly 1 lever thickness, which is about there. Okay, let's look at it from every angle. So I've got a couple of different files there. I've got a coarse file, and this is a second cut. So one side's been ground off, which is good if you want to fold to the sides without cutting down. That's probably my favourite file. But again, this is a Nicholson file, a Nicholson Waldron file, but can't get these anymore either. Well, not in the UK. Okay, so that was the cut. This is what I mean by width of cut. So I'll show you. If you look down through there, you can see that a second lever is touching the post, and that's because the width of the cut isn't wide enough, so it's pinching all them 3 levers together. So we just need to make that a touch wider. That's where that file comes in with the side that's ground off, just a fraction. See how that sits now? That's much better. There we go. That's not bad. So they're a little bit high. That's fine. Okay, this is I can tell this is a very high cut. So that key, the lever's lifting there, has to go almost up to the highest lift to get into them gates. So I can tell that's a high lift already. So we just need to take this down a fraction, I think, and see if it fits. So just test it. But I think it needs to come down. Yep, it comes down a fraction. So roughly a lever thickness over again. Right there. Give or take. There's that one. It's a high cut, so we see where it is. Not bad. I think it just needs a bit wider because it's pinching a bit. So we're starting to build the key shape up. So keeping that key 90 degrees as well is important. Okay, and I can see. Okay, that second one of mummy just is a little bit high. Set that down a bit. I'm just going to move that one out of the way because I keep picking it up. That's the one I want. Okay. So make sure that that's 90 degrees, remember. It's not bad. This lever. It's got a bit of dirt on it. Put a bit of oil on it, just get the dirt off. Just grease it is really. Of course, grease will make them stick together. Okay. So I'm in a shallow cut because I want to check the space. It's not bad, not bad. Right, let's chase that down. I have another lever similar to that in there. Very similar to the one lever, but I think it's a new height in the lock. Good news is if you make a mistake and go too low, we can always try one of the other levers because that might be a more favourable cut. So it's a little high still to come down a touch. I think it just needs to come down a fraction, and maybe the space needs a bit of widening. Well, we're getting there. It's going to go down a little bit of the file. Little by little. It's not bad. This one, put a bit of oil on that again, just to get the grease off more than anything. Again, that looks almost a high lift, but not as high as the high lift we had in there before. So let's start chasing that one. So the key saw blade literally only cuts in one direction, whereas the file cuts in all directions. So I don't like to make keys with a file if I can help it. Just come down a bit more. try that. I think spacing there needs a bit of sorting out. Smooth that spacing over a bit. It's not bad. Got the last lever. Try a bit of oil on that. Clean that off. So we've got a few marks in there, but the marks are just in the lever more than anything. There's a little bit of rust probably from where it's just been in the damp, so I'm just going to quickly wire brush that off. Okay, so not heavy wire brushing, so you can emery cloth if you want, but emery cloth will remove some brass of the some of the brass, so let's not do that. Okay, put it back in the lock. My tea getting cold. So yeah, false gates on every lever. This one we can tell is going to be a high lift. We look at that there. Makes it a high lift. So let's put that in there. So remember we had a high lift there, which was a little bit lower than the blank. So one thing I didn't do actually is I didn't make the blank the thickness of the lock, which is generally what I normally do when I start these things, but and also the shape of the key. It's good to have a high lift on this side of the lever cut, because it just gives it the strength of the key, and when it's in the case it holds it together. If you had a shallow cut there, you've got the chance of it rocking. No. Do this with the file. Yeah, that's not bad. See if that goes in the works. Remember, we left everything a little bit high in there as well. So, where are we? Okay, so all that's happening in a minute is the keys not turning. Remember, that's a high lift. It's actually touching the back there and there. So that lever's got no movement in it. It just needs to come down a little bit more. The thing got me mindful with high cuts like that. Let's try that. That is really tight, that. So take it down just a fraction more. Putting that one there, yeah, that one. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Yep. Screw it back together. So I'm going to put a bit of oil on there and wipe that off. Now obviously we can put oil in the lock, but I do like to have them running dry as we assemble it, at least. So we know that it's working, it's running dry. And then put a bit of oil in it, and that's going to do it the world of good. but I want to make it work when it's in its dry state. Okay, I'm just going to put the case cap and hold it a minute. I don't think that key is going to turn because we didn't cut the flag the width of the lock, which is generally what I do first, but I didn't do it on this time. So as long as you're chasing the width of those levers, then you'll be fine. I say there's no right or wrong way to make a key to a lock. This is just the way it works for me. Okay, so again, it's not going to turn because the flag is too wide. That's too wide there, so we've got to take a little bit off this side. So we can do felt tip pen, I suppose, like such. So I've just put that on there. I can turn that in the lock, put it under some tension and rock it. And that'll give us a rough idea how wide we are. Or not, you can't really see it that great, but just a little mark on that corner. But we can see it's too wide anyway if you put it in the lock. So you can physically look inside there. Say, yep, that's too wide. So we could do that on the key machine, to be fair, make it smaller. So I want that other file. Right, let's try that. A bit more. Okay, a bit more. And a bit more. Make sure we're filing straight. That'll help. Slowly by slowly, little by little. There we go, it's not bad, just a little bit more off there, I think. So I'm just going to do it this way. That one. Okay, so I'm going to make sure the spaces are correct. Remember, because we want the high's a little bit less, the deep's a little bit wider. Let's try that, if we've done it right. Okay, now I'm just going to so remember I left them high, so I'm just going to touch the edge of the lever and see which ones are binding. So we've got pretty much all of them. Oh, there you go. It will go if it's forced a bit. That's how tight we've made the key basically. So we can take that down on all 7 steps because all 7 of them are binding. So I use my medium file. I'm just going to take each one down a little bit, and we can give it a little bit of a radius. Okay, so somewhere so it's got a very small grab on it. So just look and see if I can see anything as it grabs. Okay, so it's got a little grab. I'm just going to touch each lever. Try not to do that. See which one's got the... Okay, second one up is grabbing. Second one up from the bottom. So second one up from the bottom. It's that one. There you go. So, let's see what the next one is. And that probably needs some oil in it by now, I'd say. But before we do that, let's just use gravity. Let's see where we're binding. Okay, so I think it just needs a bit of oil in it now. See where we go. Let's put that oil in. There you go. That's nice and loose. Great stuff. So I might just take that apart again, just give it a good clean up. It looks like a couple of the levers. Don't know if you can see that. A couple of levers, they don't look flat. They look like they've got a little curl in the end of them. But that's not bad. That's how you make your key to a safe lock. Next thing is to just make sure it's all working good and then duplicate the key. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.